Coming to you with breaking news, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce, aka CryptoMom, is facing a $10 million fine from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission and has been dragged in front of a judge for her role in what the SEC is calling an April 2016 fraud. The SEC accused Pierce and her former husband from Alabama with false statements regarding the status of an investment with the company's IDEX, later known as Polionex. According to the SEC, the Pierces ran a Ponzi scheme and defrauded investors by promising high returns with low risk through the purchase of trading bots. Everything I just told you is a complete lie. If I didn't do my own research, that actually might be what I spit at you for truth, right? As truth. It's so important for us to verify information, even if you trust the source. If you trust what I'm saying as the truth, it's still important that you go and do your own research. And if you find that I said something wrong, call me out on it. If you disagree with what I say, comment on it. Let's have a conversation. Go to our Discord. You know, let's make this a conversation, because it's important that the truth be the truth, and that we don't let YouTubers, like where this was coming from. By the way, the whole reason why I'm doing this is because a pretty notable YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of followers, subscribers, people who listen to them, was spitting this as absolute truth. I take that back. He said that if it is not true, then to reach out and tell them, which I did, and at which point my comment was deleted. Maybe that wasn't him. Maybe it was someone that works for him. I don't know, but it seems like this person definitely has an agenda. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up this article. It wasn't just this, right, that he was, it was also, a lot of this came up because CryptoMom, Hester Pierce, just recently came out against the SEC, or not necessarily against the SEC, but the SEC is building out this thing called the CAT system, right? So it's the Consolidated Audit Trail. And what this is supposed to do is aggregate all of the transactions from every investor in the United States. Okay, so it's a pretty massive surveillance program where they centrally database all U.S. investors and all of their trades. So on this database, you'd have all their personal information and all their financial information. Okay, we'll get into that in part 2. This is going to be part 1. Going into this article that I was just talking about, this is what he was referencing to. And it is the only article of its kind on Google, right? So Google indexes literally every word from the majority of sites that, you know, are on the internet. And what you can actually do is you can take lines of text, right, on a site, and you can put it in quotes, and then you can drop it into the search, and it'll search for just that line, right? So what I did, you know, when I'm doing research on this, is I took the actual quote that he was taking from the SEC, which was in quote, the SEC alleged that Pierce had illegally raised at least $10 million from investors by falsely telling them that her trading profits were real and that she had customers in partnerships with big banks. First off, at this time, she was already appointed to the SEC. She wouldn't even been able to do this. Not to mention, this chick is smart. Like, this is not how a smart person operates. That's not really true. Smart people do stupid things. But in this case, this is absolutely false. There is this quote coming from the SEC, exists nowhere on the internet but in this article. And had this YouTuber just actually read the article he was citing, he could probably tell that this was absolute bullshit. So this whole part right up here is talking about how Hester Pierce is going to get fined $10 million, right? But if you just go below whatever video that is not played there anymore, because we can see that it's not available. The Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States has long been a strong opponent to the cryptocurrency sector. We know that to be true. It ends by saying that Hester Pierce, dubbed CryptoMom, has filed a lawsuit against the SEC over a $10 million punishment levied on Polionex. This whole thing is coming from this article right here, in many other, right? So if you research this, what you actually find is that CryptoMom was slamming the SEC for fining Polionex $10 million. And she's been very consistent with this. Why she was slamming the SEC for finding Poloniex is because the SEC never gave guidance on what these crypto companies and exchanges can and cannot do. And she's like, that's kind of fucked up. You know, like we didn't tell them they couldn't do that, and then they do it when we didn't tell them they couldn't do it, and so then we fined them $10 million. She was actually fighting on the crypto side. Maybe that's why she's called Crypto Mom. And I'm not totally defending her. She could be involved in fraud. I don't know. I'm just calling bullshit because it's bullshit. And this whole site, McFractalstudies.com, never go here. This site is garbage. Further along, it goes into how the fine is actually going towards Poloniex, and that CryptoMom was at the opposition of the SEC, saying that Poloniex shouldn't have gotten the fine. All this YouTuber who has hundreds of thousands of followers that are all now commenting and saying that everything's a fraud and Hester Pierce should be fired and she should go to jail, and I'm sure there's threats of physical violence because people are crazy. If they just read the whole article, they would know that this doesn't really make sense. Okay. Well, that's part one. Part two, we're going to talk about the CAT system. Now, the CAT system, like I said, was the consolidated audit trail. And what this does is it centralizes, as I previously described, it centralizes all investor trading, right? So that the SEC can monitor it live. That's thousands of people. Thousands of people that the SEC would have working on this system, monitoring all your personal information and financial information live. Do you think that's a good idea? This YouTuber thinks it is. I feel like if he actually had an intelligent conversation about it, like we will in part two, he'd have different thoughts. But if you guys want to know my thoughts on the CAT system, which to tell you is I think in theory it's great, but I don't think that this CAT system should be what we do. And my solution to it, a very easy solution, technology is already ready there. It makes it more publicly accessible. It's called blockchain. And there's a way that we can have private transactions or anonymous transactions that are open to the public while protecting identity and solving the issue by eliminating bad actors. Watch part two to find that solution coming from me. If you have any questions, engage, join our Discord, like, subscribe. Let's have a conversation about anything that is on your mind. Have a good day.